Okay, so we're going to go through a couple of the example questions that you might have to consider when you write these kind of applications. The first one is quite obvious. If you're applying to be a lawyer, you have to understand why you want to be a lawyer. And this sounds more complicated than it is, because you really need to think about, from your background, what you've studied, what you've done, the kind of work experience you've had, friends you've met, family you've met, and just think about why is it with this profession that attracts you. And obviously, they know that you're going to apply to maybe different types of careers, because it's important to, if you want to become a lawyer, you might back that up with saying, well, I tried banking and I didn't like that for X and Y reasons. So it's not a bad thing having tried out different careers. Yeah, that kind of links into the next point, which is that if you can back up your choice with showing that you've tried out different things. You need to understand the role that you're applying to. So if you're applying to be a trainee at the law firm, you need to understand what is it that a trainee is expected to do. If you're applying to become a banker in an IBD division, you need to understand what is it that an analyst is supposed to do as their everyday role. Then elements to consider. So you need to look into again, if you look at what is it that is expected by an analyst, what is it with that type of work that makes you tick, what is it that you find interesting with that type of work, or maybe the knowledge that's required from you. Intellectual fulfillment, whether you're a lawyer, banker, or consultant, a lot of people want to go into that kind of profession because they find it intellectually stimulating. And again, you need to think about why is it intellectually stimulating, but also why do you want to work in an environment that is intellectually stimulating. People, it's a way to, again, back up your decision to apply to a firm or a certain profession, because you might have met people at networking events at university, or again, family and friends that work in a particular sector, and you find what they've said really interesting. Whether you become a commercial lawyer, investment banker, consultant, or any kind of city careers, it is very important to mention that it's an international element. So you can bring up anything from, traveling or meeting people from different backgrounds at university to kind of showcase that you do have an interest in interacting with people from a broad range of cultures or international backgrounds, because ultimately in cities and in a globalized world, you will be meeting people from different countries. And you'll be working on deals that cross loads of different borders and have international elements to them. The training on offer, all different professions will have different sets of training. So for instance, if you're going to consultancy, you might have to sit certain types of exams, or you'll get trained in maybe Excel or different types of valuations in IBD. And it's important to know what you can expect when you go into that profession, so that you can say, the reason I want to be, for instance, a commercial lawyer is because I think the training I will receive for these various reasons will be very beneficial to me. Because it's not just about the work, it's also that you will actually get to be trained by these firms, which is very valuable.
What's really important once you've really thought about those issues that Frida just mentioned is why the nature of the work appeals. Take it that step further. Have you worked in a supermarket and you didn't like the fact that time went slowly because you didn't feel intellectually engaged the whole time? Find some experience you can use as a direct comparison. What if you really want to personally develop through the training? Could you link that back to your time at university and you've really enjoyed the harder modules? If you're interested in the commercial element of the career or the business element of the career, can you link that back to your degree, or have you had some kind of experience in young enterprise or running a small startup yourself, and where you've really wanted to be involved in that side of things? So if you say the work aligns with your interests, and that's one of the reasons you want to work in that firm, explain how you have developed those interests, so it doesn't seem like you're just making a point you think the firm want to hear. You make sure it really comes across as genuine, and using personal examples is the best way to do that. Over to you.
Yes, as the careers consultant, I'd like to reiterate all of that. It is really about you being completely personal and thinking how every single thing you've done is relevant. And actually, the overwhelming majority of things that you do here will be relevant. And one thing that, above all else, I'd perhaps like to say is, if you come to university, you work really, really hard, and you come out with a fantastic first, and you've done nothing else, you've not engaged with societies, you've never done any work, you will be less employable in the city than the person who's got a 2-1 and who's done lots of other things as well.